Hello guys, welcome to Kyle's channel. Here we have a video about comparison between Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact. I have played Genshin from like Sumeru to Natlan, and I quit in Natlan because I didn't like what was happening there. Like explosion power creep, the Night Soul mechanism, then the story. I really hated that part in Natlan, so I just quit. I came back again to pull for Kirk, and I got her, but I just quit it again, even before building her. So yeah, I think he will do a fair comparison. No, I think I can just express my understanding of the both game in this video. So let's go.
Is wuwa, a comparison that has been happening since Wuthering Waves came out, and today, since I played both games and I do have so many hours on them, I will give you a fair comparison between them with some points that people are comparing that are actually unfair, especially that the answer cannot be the same for everybody.
Okay.
And that's why I'm gonna be comparing so many different elements with the games to see which game is better than the other.
Yeah, you can compare it with like a story elements, like it's a depth in the story, in the presentation, like it's gameplay and stuff. So let's see what he
That
got
one
say.
element, so we can conclude in the end. And so
Yeah.
I think we should start with the most important thing with both games, which is the gameplay. Now, the way the games are played is actually a little different, and for some people it could be actually
Okay, let me just say my take on it. I really like Boba's gameplay. It's like I play Endless Ring or stuff, like dodge counters also. Like I really like this game. Its mechanics are also good. The team rotation is also good. I really like it. For Genshin, most part, if I have a good team, I will always enjoy it. Like the rotations. I had Hu Tao for my main DPS, and that team was actually kind of good. But more comfortable characters came out, and I just fell out of its gameplay. It was good, but no, not anymore.
fair to compare them both, but we can spot the similarities because if we look at Genshin, the gameplay or the core gameplay is creating a team of 4 characters that has a really good strategic rotation and can create good reactions with the element system that has mostly 1 or sometimes 2 rotations to do the most amount of damage. Every character has an ability.
You have to do like a correct elemental attack, use hydro attack and fuse fire damage to get like vaporize. So you have to do correct strategic work in that. I will always like mess up with Bennett and the stuff because he has like fire infusion. It's so hard in like using Bennett in like CC Bennett. Otherwise, it's also good. In Wuthering Waves, you have to like do correct rotations with no flexibility actually. You can like minimize rotation with like swap cancel, swap cancel, swap cancel. But yeah, I never use swap cancel, so I can't.
Character has an ultimate, and of course you have the ability to dodge. But characters can really change the way you play the game, especially if you have a very powerful shielder like Zhongli, which can make you not do so many dodges on most enemies. But of course, there are so many enemies that will probably change that strategy and make a shielder not useful. On the other hand, with Wuthering Waves, you create a team of 3 that is, instead of playing around elemental systems, is mainly playing around the intro and outro skills and the buffs that every character gives to the main DPS, so that you can make a rotation where you utilize your concerto energy and abilities with every character so that you can buff the main DPS. But after using that, we also have the fact that there is an important thing in Wuthering Waves, which is parrying and perfect dodging. Yes, you can dodge like in Genshin, but you can perfect dodge, which gives you another type of attack, but also is so rewarding because it gives you more concerto energy. But the gameplay also is now utilizing the elemental system even more by using the Spectrofrazzle, the arrow erosion and all that. And overall, the Wuthering Waves combat will probably be a little harder, especially that you will be needing a good reaction time where you have to understand the bosses and all that. And with Genshin, probably the hardest thing and the most important thing will be how you build the team, because that's more important in Genshin.
Genshin like it's restricted. You can like you have to do a perfect rotation in Genshin. Actually, you can mess it up, can get hit and stuff because it will mess up the team rotation.
Probably Wuthering Waves. Now
you have to use like a shield character to get like a perfect rotation in Genshin.
DLC. The Wuthering Waves combat is faster, and it has way more mobility than the Genshin Impact one. It also got more elements to it. But the reason why you cannot just objectively say that Genshin Impact has worse combat like a lot of people are saying is because the elemental system and the reactions are executed in a way that makes the gameplay fun for different reasons. It's very fun to do that strategy of creating a good combo between characters by using the elements. And the fact that changing your build a little bit for some characters can change their teams a lot. For example, let's take the Rider Shogun, where you can use her either as an electro charge character or change her build completely for the Hyper Bloom teams.
I agree with you in this part, because like wuwa has no like team building strategies, because it's like stale. You can have that mix and match kind of in Genshin. Genshin has so many like mix and matches. I really love that part about Genshin, because you can use one character in so many teams. You can build so many teams, but in Wuthering Waves it's like it's stale. Yeah, that part is actually kind of sad.
And I'm one of the people.
But it's about team building. In gameplay wise, I would say Wuthering Waves is actually more fun to play. Okay, you can say like element system has been like a new player who comes to Wuthering Waves without playing who comes to Genshin Impact without playing any other games will say the element system is actually good. Because I also said the element system is actually good in my like Sumeru days, but not now. I can't say it because it has like overgrown me. Yeah.
That does have so much fun with that reaction system, and I could say that the reasons or the way I enjoy the Wuthering Waves gameplay is different than the way I enjoy the Genshin Impact gameplay. Now, if you want to get personal and say which one I prefer, I do prefer the Wuthering Waves gameplay, because I do like the faster paced gameplay. I do like the fact that you can parry and use more of your skill with the bosses, because sometimes for me the reaction system will get old, especially when you use the same teams. And when you talk about the characters and everything like that, it's kind of that the game gets easier and it's too much at some point. So for me, I do prefer the Wuthering Waves gameplay, but I had to emphasize on the point of the reaction system just to be fair. It is also really satisfying to see that your character that is probably
I had to like divide this stuff in gameplay. I have to divide the gameplay stuff into team building and actual gameplay. Okay, in team building wise, I will say Wuthering Waves has no that team character synergy with every other characters, but in Genshin you have so many synergies actually. So I have to say team building wise I will give it to Genshin Impact, but in gameplay wise and this animation and stuff, it's so fun to play Wuthering Waves. It's not even close.
a pyro character does fit. They do 100,000. It's really satisfying when you do that and amplify your damage so much in a crazy way with some of those reactions. Now, since we're still in the gameplay, let us talk about these characters
my
and
favorite
kits.
reaction Genshin Impact is Vaporize. I really love it. Like the damage number I see is actually insane.
And meta. So the character design is subjective. You can like the Wuthering Waves character kits and meta. So the character design is...
let me put my take in it. Character, kits and meta. So I have to give it to Wuthering Waves for character design and kit. So because the Wuthering Waves has like a normal attack, intro skill, outro skill, resonance revelation, and fortress skill. Like it's like 5 skill. In Genshin Impact, like it has like basic attack, elemental skill, and element burst. That much it is, because it doesn't have an even it doesn't even have a combo to do. In other ways, there is so much combo to do in a character. So character kit wise, I will give it to Wuthering Waves.
Subjective. You can like the Wuthering Waves characters more. You can like the Genshin Impact.
Okay, subjective wise, yeah. Subjective wise, you can try like anything. You can just like Genshin. Okay, it's actually not a problem.
More, but for me, there's some Genshin Impact characters that I like more than Wuthering Waves, and there are some Wuthering Waves characters that are better than Genshin Impact.
Okay. Okay.
The only thing that is not subjective here is probably with the expressions of the faces of the characters in Wuthering Waves.
Does this apply in character kit? Uh, okay, okay. On my take on that, I will say Wuthering Waves also have the upper advantage because have you seen Lupa? Like that girl's expression is like the top tier expression I have seen in Gacha. Like there is no other character. Maybe in ZZT there is, but there is no other characters I have seen like seriously. The animation they gave her in her facial expressions and stuff, it was so good. Like everyone was actually surprised from her expressions and stuff. It's actually not even close.
between both games.
I think it's because of the game engine. Totally, it's because of the game engine. They can do Genshin Impact can do it, but it will not be as good as Wuthering Waves.
That's where Wuthering Waves is objectively better. But when
Yeah.
you check with the characters and not only the design that will make you attached to a character, probably the lore of that character. And I will talk about story and lore in a little bit, but
I have to say, lore wise, Genshin Impact is better because you get hyped up about characters that doesn't even come out. Like the Fatuis. You are always expecting a Fatui. Like it's so hyped to see a Fatui in like a story. Okay? A Harbinger. Yeah.
do think that side characters with Genshin Impact,
Alexino's
most
was
of
so
them
good.
do have better lore or better backstory
Alphonse
than
and
side
stuff.
characters in Wuthering Waves,
Yeah.
and some big
I
problems with
actually
them is that
like don't know that much of lore of a character before that version they comes out on in Wuthering Waves. So
that a character like Kalcharo or a character like Dungeon still don't have a story, despite
yeah, culture. What is culture doing?
being really loved by the community in 1.0. Going with the characters kits and the meta and power creep and all that, I do think that if we start with power creep, I think that both games are really close in this. I think that Genshin and Wuthering Waves are the best two games that do that with meta, where they
No. For the current time, Genshin has implemented some things I definitely don't like. It's like I will say again, Night Soul mechanism was such a ass because you have to pull an attack character to clear it. Okay, I hated that part. Then the like Luna reaction stuff. Like seriously, Luna reaction, like Lunar charge reaction, Luna boom bloom. That's so bad actually. I saw that lunar charge stuff and I really hated that. You have to get that character or you will be missing out on the content. Like seriously, I don't know. And for the 6.0 version, not cry. They have made the game for only whales. Like seriously. You can get a character 1100 if you have pulled for like that character for 9 constellations. Like you have to pull for that character, get his 6 constellation, and get a 7th copy of it to get it to 1195, and get a 6C8 for get to 1100. Like that's total 5, a total 9 into 5-star characters. It's so bad. It's actually so bad. The power creep in Genshin is actually it's like gone downhill.
if they want to power creep or make a character a little bit stronger,
Yeah, this
they
is not
don't
true for the current
just
time.
make
Okay,
the older character don't
it was
work, which is a
it was
problem with
still not true for the
Honkai
current
or a lot of other gachas.
the
And I
video
think that
when it came out. Okay, in like June. Okay, that time Night Soul mechanism was there, so I can't agree.
Genshin and Wuthering Waves both are doing a good job here. But what I want to talk about in detail is the kits of every character. Now here is where I have a problem sometimes with Wuthering Waves, because they sometimes make a kit of a character that is a little bit complex and so good, especially in terms of gameplay. Like for me, this does surpass the Genshin way of making characters, and especially when they try to make a new character, they do know how to make a newer character pretty different than older characters and have something new, and also have so much depth to their kits. But I do think
Yeah, I have to say, Wuthering Waves have so much possibility in building a character because there's so much like sort of upscaling in like a normal attack damage, heavy attack damage, resonance skill damage, resonance evasion damage, like so many types of damage it is. So you can make a total of, like, I heard about 26 type of character, a total 26 about type of character, and you can just recycle this process totally. So Wuthering Waves have still not like shown power creep and stuff, because there is no character that has same mechanics and stuff. Yeah.
That the problem with that is that there is something that Kuro Games wasn't really aware of at the start, and I think that they weren't expecting to do that, is that every character is either exclusively heavy attack oriented or resonance liberation oriented,
I don't think
or
that's a problem,
resonance
actually.
skill oriented, which is kinda kills the difference between
No,
all of those.
I think
what's
it's
the point of having
like,
resonance
they can make
liberation damage and
so many like different characters from different type of attacks. Like, you won't get tired of it. You have to with various different characters. You can have various type of characters.
resonance
Okay.
skill damage
So,
when you know that
I
some
don't think that's a
characters are
problem.
just gonna use one of those. You cannot just build a character around just skill damage to maximize their damage of their skill,
Yeah.
or just resonance liberation damage to see a big number with their ultimate, and probably create so many different strategies with characters. But I see why they didn't do that, because it will probably make characters so much harder to balance. But this doesn't
Yeah.
deny the fact that this is kind of pointless now, and that they are just, that the new
No,
character
actually, for the long run of the game, it's actually not pointless. It's actually good for them.
will use
They can
only
make so many characters from different types and stuff. They are actually big braining this. So
one way of doing damage. And you can see that it's kind of different with 1.0 characters. Some of them do use different ways of scaling their damage. And I didn't have a problem if it was with a little bit of few characters, but it's happening with almost every character. And I was like, what's the point of using my resonance liberation to do resonance skill damage? It's kind of annoying a little bit, but it's not that big of a problem, of course. You still can just build your character in that way. It probably a little bit limited with some of the
I can
builds,
see why
but
it's
it's something
annoying,
to talk
but
about,
I can agree.
Now, other than that, another problem is how they explain the kits. Now finally is
That's
good.
a problem.
But before that, some of the numbers weren't so clear. Some of the ways they explain some
oh
abilities
god, you have to see like 2.0 characters, like explanation of their kids. It's like essays and essays. You won't even understand anything about reading that.
some
Actually,
characters is a little bit hard to understand for people. But now Wuthering Waves kind of fixed that, and you can see with so many new characters.
they have fixed it, but still not. Yeah, they have fixed it for Augusta actually, but it's still before that characters have still essays for the attacks and stuff.
They put a wall of text explaining everything, and you can actually, when there is a different term, you can click on it and it will be explained. I really like that. And when we move to Genshin Impact, by explaining kits, I would say that Genshin Impact is still better here, but
Yeah,
now
I
Wuthering Waves is
can
close.
agree.
But Genshin can make a
I can agree.
really complex
This one I
kit for
can
a character
agree to.
and have a very good explanation for it. And of course, you can have characters that are HP oriented or attack oriented. Or
The problem. Oh god, what happened to my cat model? Okay, the problem is that not the problem, but the advantage Genshin have is that it has only like 3 archetype of attacks and some passives, but it has like 5 archetype of attacks and like intro skill and outro skill stuff to do. So it is a little hard to track in Wuthering Waves and stuff. So it's gonna take a longer time to explain. But still, Genshin is better for this kind of kit explanation and stuff.
every time like that. So the
actually
reason
simple.
why I complained about it in WoWa, because it was created like that, because it had the potential but didn't use it, And you can find that Genshin does have more variety, especially because of the elemental system and using the elemental mastery. As I said before, some characters can change their build by using elemental mastery or using the build with attack and great damage and things like that. So this is one of those that it's unfair to just say that this is objectively better. No, I just give you the good.
It's alright to say that, because Wuthering Waves are only just like reduce the kit summary. Okay, so it's okay to say
That's
that.
all in every game, and you can choose accordingly. Now let us talk about the world. Again, of course, I'm not gonna talk a lot about how the environment looks, because
I think
that
this one's
depends on
going to be
you.
actually
I do think that
like
both games are
Genshin's
visually
favorite.
so.
I think it's Genshin is the has more like good world
Thing that you can say that
because it's like built upon many stories and stuff. You are literally hyped about the next region every time.
Wuthering Waves
I actually don't have that much of hype to New Federation. I know it's sci-fi and I know it would be good actually, but I haven't. I don't have that much hype like I had in Genshin when I saw Fontaine for the first time. Okay, so yeah, it's
is
actually
better than Genshin, and it's probably that the Genshin graphics are a little dated compared to the Wuthering Waves graphics because, of course,
okay.
Wuthering Waves
Graphics wise,
is
actually Wuthering Waves win because the game engine and stuff. The like lore wise and the hype about the region. I think it's Genshin.
newer, but we cannot deny the fact that Wuthering Waves is actually trying to make the graphics better with every
Yeah,
update, especially with the latest
like
update. They
every
created the
update
Ultra
has 59 GB extra space. Like seriously, please optimize it. I am begging you, Kuro. Please
setting
optimize
update.
it.
They made the graphics even better with the newer version. But for Genshin Impact, they weren't really making the graphics better. They were working on the same engine, which has a good
Yeah.
and a bad side. And we will immediately talk about that good and bad side. So, of course, the bad side is that the graphics look a little bit worse than Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
But the good side is that the optimization for Genshin Impact is way better than the Wuthering Waves
That's
optimization.
also
Wuthering
true.
Waves has a big problem with optimizing the game. I made a
Yeah.
video that is talking about this in detail.
Like
Person A has a
59
problem with the
59
graphics
GB
in that certain
update.
version,
Seriously?
and person B has the same hardware but doesn't have a problem, so he calls them a
Yeah.
liar in the next
I'm
version.
just running thin on my system. Like seriously. They're even upping their game every update.
Person A doesn't have a problem anymore with performance, but person B does now have the problem. And with
Yeah.
the fact that Wuthering Waves is trying to make the game more appealing with every new update, where Genshin tries to make the game more appealing by creating more different environments that look good, but Wuthering Waves tries to make new different environments but also try to make the graphics better, which, as I said, is good and bad at the same time. It's good to make the graphics better, but they have to do so much work with optimization because it's so hard
Yeah.
to optimize the
Yeah.
game, especially that the game is on Unreal Engine, so they have a harder road with this. But since we're still talking about the world, let us go and talk about the open world experience and the exploration. So, if we start with Genshin Impact gives you so many ways of exploring the game, especially with every different region.
Okay.
Every region will give you
Okay.
different ways to explore, different
think I'm gonna hate this
gadgets, has
part.
different puzzles. Of course, you have to collect chests for the currencies. Characters are important in the exploration, so of course you can use some
Yeah, I'm gonna just tell my take on this. I hate, like, I have a serious hate for Genshin about what they done in Atlan. Like, the exploration power creep they had, I really hate. I really, really hate it. Like, seriously, you are going to just make every character that has greater ability to, like, movement. You are just making characters that are better and better for every like new patches, and telling us to pull for it. I don't have a Natlan character, so I am like getting far behind by the other Genshin players because I have to explore Natlan, bro. Right? They say use Sorians, but why? Why make this kind of power creep? Like I hate missing out on things like characters and stuff. Okay, I hate missing out on mechanism that is shield for only whales and stuff. Okay, I hate it.
characters so that you can make it easier. You can climb almost everything in the game. Sometimes
Ah, yeah. Okay, climb. Seriously, like I hate Genshin climbing. And those who say Genshin's climbing is actually better than Wuthering Waves, you need to check your like brain. Seriously, Yeah.
You would have some random interactions with NPCs that can make you do that one puzzle, or you would have a random world quest that if you do, you will open a new place in the world and you can explore
Okay.
it. So the open
Actually,
world
seriously, who
experience
does the
with
side
Genshin
quest?
Impact is
I never
a
did.
really good, solid open world experience for a gacha game. And for so long, it was the best. But here is where I will probably say that Wuthering Waves really is just
Okay.
better in almost every single
Every
thing
single
here.
thing. Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
almost because there's some little things that is still not better in Wuthering, but
Okay.
almost everything in the open world experience and especially exploration is better in Wuthering Waves, because
Yeah.
what I just
Exploration is
said for
100%
Genshin
better than
Impact
Genshin.
does exist in Wuthering Waves, but is better with more quality of life changes,
Like
faster,
everyone can use
easier,
every
and probably
mechanism.
I would say less annoying and less relying on the
Yeah.
characters. Especially
Yeah.
with 2.0, with when we saw in Renacita, we can literally fly and do whatever we want and explore in
Yeah.
every way we want. And with the world and how they designed it in a good way that supports flying. Flight system is a really good system in this game. It really changed the game a lot. It made the exploration way better, and the way they make their new regions and their new zones is improving a lot, and it's actually kind of a step up with every open world gacha now, and even in open world games in general. Especially when you see the problem with the fact that yes, you can climb anything in Genshin Impact, but in wuwa you can climb and run in the wall. That's without talking about the fact that you can fly, you know? So the mobility with the gameplay is helping the Wuthering Waves just utilize better open world experience. Now probably the only thing that Genshin does have a little better for now is that a lot of the puzzles in Genshin Impact that they're probably a little harder, but I think they are made a little bit better than what we have in Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves
Okay,
does have
but
some cool
I
puzzles,
find
by
it
the way.
allo
That doesn't mean
annoying.
that the
Actually,
puzzles
two
in WoW
puzzles
are bad.
and stuff
Especially, I
in
do like that
Genshin.
puzzle with Renacita of the colors and things like that. But I do think
Yeah, I
that
don't know
Genshin
about
Impact
that.
does
I won't
have
make a
better
take on it.
puzzles than Wuthering Waves, and that's probably the one point that Genshin
I don't
is
know how to
better
feel
still
about
with
this.
the open world experience and the exploration. But the thing is, this is probably not objective, because some people do not like puzzles and they do want
Yeah,
simpler
I don't
puzzles.
actually
But
like
even when we
that
say simpler,
overall
some of them are
puzzles.
simple in Genshin Impact, but they are more fun, you know? Now let's move on to storytelling and lore. I will try to really differentiate between lore and storytelling, because
Here's
I
the
really
spicy
have
part.
a way different opinion in both of them. Because
I have to say, I just put it up front. Genshin has like good story. It has like a good world depth to its story. It is like foreshadowing. It's like lore heavy and stuff. The problem with the Genshin is that its storytelling is so much worse than WoW. WoW, it has, but WoW has been upgrading like from 2.0. I like the 1.3 quest. From then on, it has been upgrading like seriously. You have to see 2.5 quest. It's the best out of everything I've seen. Like seriously, you have to like watch 2.5 quest or play. That was so good. The Frolova story. That storytelling was actually peak. Genshin can't replicate it actually. But the lower heavy stuff in Genshin, WoW can replicate it because WoW is not well established till now. The lore is still not developed in Wuthering Waves. So, yeah.
I do think that the storytelling with Wuthering Waves, especially after 1.2,
Yeah.
the storytelling with WoW really does exceed what Genshin can do easily. And
Yeah.
I'm here talking about the way it's told, the way the characters told,
The
the amount
presentation,
of
the
the
animation, the
animations, the
expression.
length of that story, the amount
Yeah.
of important thing with lore
Yeah.
or story that you can tell us in 1 hour, especially that Genshin did embrace the problem of Paimon, where she does explain to you
That was so annoying. Actually, Paimon is so annoying.
what happened again.
I hate that part where I3 is just a weakness. Like, look at Rover. He's like upfront in everything. I hate that. Like, Traveler is actually like a witness to everything. I hate that part. Like, he's just doing the side quest, actually, not doing anything.
again, although it's a little bit useful sometimes, but rarely useful. You just can go back to what they said. With this
I have to say, I actually like Fontaine very well. I really like Fontaine, the best out of Genshin. Okay, I will rate it to the level of wuwa. Okay, for wuwa, like the best story with that can compete with wuwa. Other question like Genshin, it cannot compare. Genshin cannot compare to wuwa in storytelling and stuff. Okay, the presentation, yeah.
storytelling
Fontaine is the like peakest, peakest the Genshin has ever done. It has like never done better than that.
even with when Wuwa has a weak point or a weak plate with story, you can skip it and have it summarized, which of course still
That's
doesn't
another
exist in
part.
Genshin. And
You
even with
can
the
skip in
writing
Wuthering
of the
Waves. You
story,
cannot
it
skip in
really
Genshin.
got way
It's,
better
it's,
in
it's
Wuthering
annoying.
Waves now, having some good plot twist, having some, a really good experience when you just play it. But now let me move on to lore, because that's where I have the exact opposite opinion. Yes, now you can tell that I always say that Genshin has better lore, but let us
Yeah.
talk about the way it's presented. Because in Genshin Impact, there's so many books and so many things that you can explore and read,
Yeah.
and every single
There is so much
fruit
lore.
has like
I
a
kind of like that part.
huge
There's
wall of
so much
text that
lore.
explains how it came from this world or something like
Yeah.
that. The foundation of
So
the
much
world
lore.
of Genshin, the way they wrote the story and the way
And the
it's
end
still
stuff is
going,
so high,
although it does have
actually.
its problems, of course, is way better than Wuthering Waves. But the
Yeah.
problem with this is that it's not accessible for most people. People do not like to read that much. People
Yeah.
do not like to be having a story that is not presented in the best way. The world
But still,
twist of
it has
Enkanomiya
good
that
lore.
wasn't
It's a
even
better lore than
voiced was one of the
Wuthering
most
Waves,
important
actually.
quests for people who like the lore. It was really, really good that you can know about the existence of this world, that you can make so many theories of, and that's why you could find a lot of YouTube channels for lore for Genshin
Yeah.
Impact, and you probably won't have so many.
But
for Wuthering
I have to say, wuwa has been like implementing very big lores in game for the past like 3 versions. Like see, very good heavy lore in like Wuthering Waves. So I'm kind of expecting the Wuthering Waves devs to like implement many other lore kind of things in the future about Rover's past and stuff. It will be so good. Okay, I think it will be so good.
Waves for two reasons. First of all, of course, Wuthering Waves does present its lore that it's not that vague. Secondly, of course, people would like to learn these things from YouTube instead of reading a lot. And third of all, because the lore is way deeper.
Yeah,
And the biggest
it's just very
problem
deeper
with
lore.
this is that the lore isn't that happy kid story that you can see with Paimon in the storytelling. This is what's frustrating with it. And that's why even me, after saying
The
all
experience
that,
with Paimon is like degrading the story. Actually, I would say if the traveler was alone, I will enjoy the story so much. Okay, if the traveler was alone, I will enjoy the story very much.
I do prefer playing the story of Wuthering Waves. So that's why I would give the
Yeah,
point to
that-
playing the story for Wuthering Waves,
Playing
but I
story.
would give the point that the story of Genshin and the lore is way better. Now let us move
Yeah.
on to the gacha system. Now we do not have to
Now,
talk
okay, if someone says Genshin's guide system is better, I would say you have serious problem with your head because there's no personal preference here. It's a factual fact because Genshin has like 90 pity for a 5-star character, and to get a like guaranteed 5-star, you have to like pull for one guaranteed limited 5-star. You have to pull for like 180 pulls. In Wuthering Waves, to get a 5-star, you have to pull for 80, and to get a limited character for with losing 50-50, you have to pull for 160 pulls. It's like 20 pulls extra in Genshin. And for weapon banner, there is no gap 50-50 in like Wuthering Waves. But in Genshin, you can lose to weapon 50-50 two times. Okay, two times. It's like pulling for like 240 time. 240 pulls you have to give for a weapon banner to get it at its maximum possibility. Like seriously. I don't have a weapon in Genshin. I don't have a 5-star weapon in Genshin. The one I have is the one I lost for 50-50, like Shao's weapon. That weapon. That's from standard weapons. That's from. I have like every weapon for my every DPS weapon for my teams. Like total four 5-star weapon, limited 5-star weapons, and I have five like standard 5-star weapon. So you can say Genshin is better for a guide system.
I have to talk a lot about the
I
gacha system
won't agree.
because it is easy to tell which one is better.
Yeah.
Wuthering Waves saw the gacha system of Genshin Impact and they just
It's a
said, okay,
forgiving.
let us make it more forgiving. With
Yeah.
instead of having a 90 pity, you have an 80 pity, and especially with the weapon banner, this is what makes it way better, is that you have a weapon banner that has no 50-50. And I do think that almost most games should remove 50-50 in
Yeah.
every single banner. And
Yeah, like just like Duel Abyss. I seriously love that depth because they have removed gacha system. Okay, they have removed gacha system from the entire game. They have scrapped it up. They are letting us like farm for characters. You have to do some events and stuff to get these characters. Okay, everyone's happy actually. I will play it in like October 28th when it comes out. So stay tuned on that.
that's what some of the newer games are doing, like Duel Night Abyss. Wuwa also differentiates
Duel Night
the
Abyss.
standard banner. So we have a standard banner for characters and a standard banner for weapon. And also the
It's a old news. Duel Night Abyss has currently removed its gacha entirely. It has no gacha now.
weapons, you still can choose them. So of course the Wuthering Waves gacha system is better, but especially that you also can buy dupes from the shop for characters, so that
Yeah, that's also. You can actually buy dupes for characters with like a currency you can get through pulling. It's actually good.
you can get a C2 character, for example, easier and probably cheaper for whales.
Yeah.
But also, Wuwa does also give more pulls to the players than Genshin Impact.
The pulls difference between Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves is like sky high. It's actually insane. I when playing Genshin, I never felt like I got many things. But by playing Wuthering Waves, I felt like I got many things as an F2P. Okay, I am not a spender, so I don't know about Waves, but as an F2P, I like Wuthering Waves, like the reward they give. Genshin Impact, it's a greedy.
It's just an easy W for Wuthering Waves here.
Yeah.
The only thing that we might talk about is the existence of 4 stars. Problem is they're not making more 4 stars in the game that are good. And in Genshin you could have a full roster of 4 stars that can do a really decent damage or
that's the
sometimes
problem.
clear some endgame content.
Yeah, that's a problem, actually. I have to say, Wuthering Waves has no like they have not released a new 5-star. Sorry, 4-star in like what decade? Seriously, they have to release some 4 stars. Wuthering Waves has a problem with the release of 5 stars. Sorry, 4 stars. They have no actual 4 stars. They have released in like 2 from 2.0 version. It's actually I don't think it's a problem because I can get the 5 stars like fairly easily than Genshin. So I don't see that as a problem. But yeah, you have to release some 4 stars, please, for Team Synergy and stuff.
Now the thing with Wuwa, characters like Danjin are very powerful. Characters like Sanhua, as I said, are broken.
Danjin
but
and
we
Sanhua
don't have
are
so
broken.
many. They're not making as much 4 stars.
And of course, there's the daily commissions and the daily things that you can do. I do think that Genshin, after updating their dailies like almost a year ago now, they now do probably have the best daily system in terms of farming what you need for characters. Or
I have to disagree on that because I can do like dailies with WoW in just like 2 minutes. No, not even 2 minutes. Because if you want to just done with like dailies, you can just use a tacit field and just farm for just 2 times and with the double rewards. You will complete the daily rewards that you get. Like that's a fast. Genshin has not that much Genshin is not that much faster.
using your resin every day or your wave plates. Wuthering Waves does have a way better experience. Just especially for the fact that they still, in Genshin Impact, if you want to farm something, you need to farm it in a specific day. This is so stupid. I don't know how this exists in Genshin. I don't know how this still exists in Genshin. But of course, there's other reasons. Instead of making condensed resin, you can just go and do the domain and claim double the reward.
Oh, they have not removed that
and that's
part.
why
Like
I will talk about the grind
you have
to build the character a little
log in
bit,
for
which
a
will probably
specific
have
date to
downsides with both
get
games. As
material.
we said, for Genshin, you will need to wait for a certain day to do something, which makes it instantly worse. That's the problem, because in every probably other thing, it's better than Wuthering Waves. Because Wuthering Waves has another problem, which is, of course, it's a gacha game, but resources for building your character's echoes are so limited, are still limited. Even though they're giving more with events now, but they're still not as good as what Genshin gives. Now here's the thing.
Wait. What did we say?
Echoes are so limited, are still limited.
Okay.
Even though they're giving more with events now, but they're still not as good as what Genshin gives. Now here's the thing.
Okay.
We can go with the fun side of farming echoes. This is another thing that you can do on a daily basis, or you can do sometimes. The fact that you can go with your friends or even alone and farm a boss echo in an unlimited amount of times. And the fact that now we can easily choose the main stat for every echo, which of course will make building the character way easier. Now of course, to be fair with Genshin, you...
Yeah, me too. I actually have so much energy saved up. Actually. Like that 60 energy cost you get, like that thing I haven't used it from the commission we get. I haven't used it like for longest time. When Lupa comes out, I will use it, but I basically use it for like a tacit field, but it never comes out now. They changed the tacit fields, so I never had to use it.
You can now have a thing that makes you have 2 whole substats and choose them, which is really good, but it's not that easy to get it. But with including this point also goes for Wuthering Waves. Now, before we go to the end game system, let us go to the events. And for events, I would not be able to say that the Genshin or the Wuthering Waves events are better
always change the events,
in
right?
that
So
thing. But you can say that some events in
this.
Wuthering Waves are better than Genshin. Some of events in Genshin are so good.
Yeah.
The only problem that I could see with the Genshin events is that a lot of them got repetitive. The second problem, it's actually, I just remember another problem, is that some of those events give you exclusive things, exclusive weapons especially,
hate that part,
and you
actually.
cannot get them again. Where this problem doesn't exist with
There's
Wuthering
actually
Waves,
good
and they make some
4-star
events
things we can get
permanent,
in
and they
Genshin.
do a rerun of those weapons in some newer events so that you can...
Like, Genshin has been like keeping that good 4-star weapons in events. They haven't like given us again that events
and get more. Now for the newer events with Wuthering Waves, they just make some events that are just boring.
I would say Wuthering Waves has been upping their game from 2.0. Every event has been like good so far.
Okay, but then they make in the same version or the exact next version, they make an event like this.
Oh, that TCG event, you have to say that TCG event is the best game I have ever played in Wuthering Waves events. Like, it's hands-on best game. I have seriously enjoyed that one.
New TFT event with cards and things like that. That is so good and fun. Or they make an event like the fishing event. They're getting more creative in Wuthering Waves, but I do remember that there's a lot of good events in Genshin Impact, especially like that one event that you can customize a level, a way of a platformer level, and you can make it hard. And you know, I really enjoyed this with my friends back in the day. That was probably one of the best events that I ever played in any gacha, to be honest. And that's why I will not be giving the point to wuwa or Genshin. Maybe if we only talk about recent event, I would maybe give this to wuwa, but that's it. Easily. Now, before the quality of life changes, let's talk about the end game. The end game with Genshin or wuwa, I will be immediately giving this to wuwa because the holograms are a really fun thing to do, and they're not meant.
We can define holograms as end game actually. We can't define it like end game. Yeah, there is actually like one hologram in like not every patch, but every 2 patch, 3 patch. But I can define like holograms as like end game. End game is like TOA and Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact and Spiral Abyss and like theater stuff. I just say both are actually bad. The end games are both actually bad. Aside from hologram. Hologram fights are actually very good. It's so entertaining. As a Souls game enjoyer, as a Sekiro player, as an Elden Ring player, I really love the holograms. Okay, but moving moving holograms aside, the end game in the both games is actually so bad. Like seriously, I hate Wuthering Waves and I hate the theater in Genshin Impact. Okay, I also hate Spiral Abyss. Okay, Spiral Abyss, it has been has having many power creeps because of Night Soul. Then there was like in Wuthering Waves, TO is actually too easy sometimes, and sometimes it is like they're it's giving the buffs for like the newest character and shielding it. I actually hate that part.
Mandatory or in a limited type. So for people who don't want to do holograms, they just can do them
So, including holograms, I will say Wuthering Waves is better. If we are not including holograms, I will say both are bad.
whenever they want. And with the Abyss system, I do think that is a step up than what we have in Genshin. It also gives more rewards. It is also more challenging and more fun. We also have another permanent endgame mode that you can do weekly, which is the Dreamscape event.
Okay. Yeah, Dreamscape event is alright. I
Really
guess
cool.
alright.
It's
It's alright.
fun. We have the Wuthering Waves, which is not my favorite, to be honest. But for
Wuthering Waves is
Genshin, now we have something that they announced that will be in the game. But also
The
we
new
have
end game in Genshin Impact, I heard it's so bad.
the Abyss.
Even F2B can no, even Wales can clear it actually. Yeah.
And the theater event, and I do think I do not like Whimpering Waves. I do not like the theater event. The Abyss is okay, which makes me go to the other thing, which is the quality of life changes, and probably this made the reputation of
Okay. Hands down, Wuthering Waves. Like they have been upping their games. Like it's not going down. It's like in a constant upping game. Seriously, the game has been like improving so much from each patches. It's actually mind blowing. Oh god, I flubbed it. Okay, like wuwa has been like improving so much. Like wuwa has been improving so much from each patches. It's like actually now I am going to flub every word. Oh god. Oh god. And there will be so much editing too. Okay. wuwa has been like upping their game from each patch. Like seriously. I don't know when it will stop, but it have to come down sometime, and it will be like players will say wuwa will just have gone down. No, it has been upping its game like seriously. Like the devs are doing a very good job with the Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact. The 6.0 update, like seriously, it is so bad. I have made a video about it, and watch it. You will understand why it's so bad.
Wuthering Waves way better, and that's why the point of the quality of life changes will also go immediately.
This is why the players switch to Wuthering Waves. Actually, they are so loud. The Kuro loves every player. They hear every criticism. They change for the players' quality of life,
Wuthering Waves,
and that's why we love them.
the amount of changes that people ask for, that the game needs, are happening almost in every patch, and a lot. There's a lot of things that should have been added in Genshin Impact, but they're not added yet. And to be
like
fair, there's some people
like getting character materials in like a specific login days. Like I hate that part. You have to log in for specific days to get that character materials. I hate that.
that are just defending Genshin with this and saying that the spaghetti
You can
code and you cannot change the code. Those are a lot of people who don't have any idea what they're talking about. Okay, some things can't be changed with Genshin, but a lot of other things are way simpler than you think. I will not just talk about the quality of life changes, the things. I even talked about some in Genshin Impact, so I would not waste your time with it. And one of them that I talked about already in this video is the skip button, for example. It's changing how they tell the story, although they said they will. And so I try to be as fair as possible. I know that some of the latest points just went straight to Wuthering Waves, but with the first few points, I really tried to give both games a really fair chance. And I do think that really, Genshin, there's some and there's deserved hate for Genshin in some things, and you could see what I said with them, but that's probably it. I do for now enjoy playing WoW more, but at the same time, I don't think that Genshin is a horrible game. There's some things that are horrible in it. Let me know what you think about the video. If you like this content, press the like button and subscribe to the channel. And that was the video. Bye-bye.
Okay. My take on it is that if we compare Wuthering Waves and Genshin 10 times, 8 out of 10 Wuthering Waves will win. Like, that much has Wuthering Waves improved from 1.0. The devs are doing a very good job, like seriously. And I don't know what the fuck were the Genshin devs were doing for the not cry stuff and making the new endgame really bad. They are doing very bad job. The Genshin devs are doing a very bad job at the marketing, at the like making the player base happy. Kuro is a very good gacha company, and they are doing everything right actually now. If they're ever wrong, players will actually call them out actually, and then they will listen and change everything like the players want. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Share your comment. Share your comments. Yo, my English is failing very bad. Okay, guys, comment your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.